Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
What do you normally look out for in a good story? What are those things that once you see in a story, you know that this
Experience counts a lot in some of these things, because sometimes you get a story, it's looking balanced, it's looking like it, but thank God for Google and some other search devices. It's quite easy to be able to quickly run through it and say no. From experience, this can't be, even if this person has put it this way and it looks believable, it sounds believable. Experience counts. So what do we say in journalism? You look out for the 5 W's and H: the why, the what, the who, the where, the when, and the how. When you have looked out for it as an editor, there are some stories that you have to ask yourself questions and then check yourself. There are some in the last 2-3 months, some news agencies have put out some stories. A news agency, from the way we grew in the industry, is supposed to be infallible. It's not supposed to falter at any point, because you have layers of checks and all the rest. But in the last 2 months or so, 2 stories completely out of tune with what should be were put out. And then the first call I got was from one of the sound minds in journalism, Simon Kolawole, and said, "Did you see this story?" I said, "Yes, I saw it." And then the next one, the news agency was apologizing because that story was wrong. It seemed believable. All the ingredients were there. But from experience, you know that this can't be, because this is what should be. So it sometimes goes beyond all of somebody saying the 5 W's and H, all the, you must then be able to ask yourself from experience, is this possible?
what kind of interviews excite you? What are those things that you normally-
Well, I look out for the personalities involved, and then the topics to be the topic of discussion. Because like I said, things are moving now in a way that readers are the ones who are determining what we publishers give them. In those days, the editor was the king. Now, the reader is the king. Because if you don't give the reader what he wants, he's going to go elsewhere to look for that news. It's easy for you now, or let me say, it's easier for you now to see what your readers are reading, especially if you are online, and say, okay, this is the trend. For instance, the story between yesterday and today was about Rico, the ex-BB Nigeria housemate, who has also been featuring in Tinsel. If you decide today, as topical as it is, if it is not that ASU is calling off his strike, and you begin to go and start writing about the history of ASU strike and all the rest, you are not in the news. If anybody has had an interview with Rico, maybe yesterday, of course, that's the interview for today. That's what everybody wants to read. If anybody had an interview with him before that, it's accident. So it's all about the reader being the king now. We may have, as editors and publishers, all the ideas, all the heavy news and all the rest. But what are we serving our readers? What do our readers want to read? It's a big deal now. So that's why we must be able to situate our own interest and area of competence with what the readers want.
Now, how easy was it for you to move from print to to online?
Yes, it was a bit easy for me.
Okay.
And the reason was this. From the time I left the Punch for Tribune, Saturday Tribune, I started paying attention to what was going on online, because I knew at that point that the next movement will be online. I started making contributions in terms of suggestions and ideas to the online team. I did that in Tribune. I did that when I was in Nigerian Compass. And that was why the publisher, the then publisher of The Sun, Senator James Okalu, specifically requested for me to reorganize the online edition of The Sun. And what was I doing? I was just following the trend. What is happening? How many copies of this newspaper are we selling? Hard copy. What is online? Are people paying attention to news online? Do they want breaking news? How do they want it served? What are the trends online? Who are those that are determining those trends online? So I started this soul searching a long time ago. So it was as far as 2006, 2007, when I also started contributing to some foreign newspapers and radio stations, and I was following them online. So at the point that that transition was going to come was when I had to suddenly disengage from Nigerian Compass. I took my time. 6 months. I did nothing other than, like I would tell my wife, to go and look for trouble online. I started what looked like an online newspaper on Facebook, and I was following the trend. Are people reading? What are they reading? What are their what caliber of people are reading? What are they paying attention to? And then 6 months after, I decided, despite the fact that I had offers, come and edit this paper, come and work for us, I was going to stay online. I wasn't going to go into print again.
Yes. So why did you decide to quit paid employment to be on your own?
Well, I found it more interesting. I've always worked for people. I've always had orders passed down. I've also always passed orders down. But this time around, I was going to decide what was going to happen. We are still having this conversation, especially with those who are in print now, who still believe that the order of the day is for editors to determine for readers what they should be reading. For those of us who are online, you can see the results of what you are doing immediately at the back end. You can see what your readers are reading. So you can serve them that menu the way you want it. For instance, in one of the newspapers where I worked towards my towards the end of my exit from the print, when I wanted to join, I said, see, if you say this newspaper is not doing as well as you want it to do, give me a few weeks to study what could be wrong. And I took about 3 months. And I came to implement what I felt were the ideas that would work. And I was told after my exit that it worked indeed. So if I can apply that to someone else's job, why can't I do it better with mine? And that was the reason. I can do this. So why can't I settle in and do it for myself? Where nobody is censoring the idea, nobody is feeling that you are using your ideas to get undue advantage, where you are seeing the effects of the efforts you are putting into the work, where you know that you are going to gain some joy from what you are doing. For me, it was just the need to go on. Fine, along the line, you know that you must make money to sustain your ideas. In the early days when we started, and which I preach to people some years later, and which I still preach to them now. See, the journalism we do now online is not about you running from office to office to go and beg for adverts, to go and beg for sponsorship. It is about those you are going to feeling compelled to come to you because of what you have to offer. Before you will see as sometimes as a hard copy newspaper man, you write proposal, you do editorial collaboration, you do all of this. But now, those who want to put in their money into your business want you to show them what you can do. They want to see how well you are doing. Who are those who are reading you? If they put in the adverts, if they collaborate with you, what value will they be getting? Not that you are telling them, because I'm shoving something in your face as hard copy newspaper, you must come and advertise. We've gone past that. And that's why you will also see that those who are still doing the hard copy, along with the online version, they are concentrating now more on the online version, because it's the new money maker. It's the new money maker. Because people will see what you are doing and be able to relate with you.